Hey everyone, it's Alex, and welcome to Bob Cage in Ontario. It's absolutely beautiful out here, and we got to talk about something that's not quite as beautiful as Bob Cajun, and that is Fantasticar. Now, I am on vacation with my family's here. We rented a cottage and we rented this boat because I can't afford this shit. You know, for this video, I think we're going to be a little less formal than we usually are. I mean, I am on vacation after all, and I could get attacked by a swarm of black flies at any point in time, or at least a dragonfly. They're all over the place. But I think it's really important, though, in a conversation about Fantasticar, is you can't talk about Fantasticar in a vacuum. Because in a vacuum, I think that Fantasticar might actually not be as egregious in terms of a value perspective as people might think it is. However, it's alongside that of Kid Omega and the general monetization of Marvel Snap, where when you take them all together, that's when they become problematic. It's not the individual, it's the sum of its parts that becomes problematic for Marvel Snap. And why I say this is because if you think about it, the Season Pass has always been almost a bastion of value for Marvel Snap players. I'm being attacked by a black fly right now. It's always been, it's literally on my arm biting me. Oh my God. Bro, these black flies are insane. But what I was saying is that if you actually think about the season pass, then $10 is usually gone pretty far for you. You know, you get a decent card with plot armor, let's be honest. It almost never gets nerfed within the season. And if it has to get buffed, you know it's getting buffed. But the problem is once you get that $10, you get all the resources that come with it. Then you have the super premium season pass, right? Right now, it's a Series 4 card like Fantasticar, which largely is like a synergistic complementary card to some of the other stuff that we're seeing. The challenge, though, is what if Fantasticar was amazing? What if that was Agent Venom that was released as a super premium season pass card? Because right now we have like the premier card, the Mr. Fantastic as a Series 5. But what happens if that changes? What happens if Fantasticar is the season pass card and Mr. Fantastic First Steps is the super premium season pass card? Don't think for a second that that could not happen. There's nothing stopping Second Dinner from making the super premium season pass card the real prize of the season. With that being said, though, I think that if you think about it, you get a season pass card in the Series 5, right? So that's 6,000 tokens. You get it for $10. Think about how much 6,000 tokens cost. It's incredibly expensive. So the value proposition of an extra $10 for another card, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? And that goes to show you just how expensive Marvel Snap cards are. Because if they had a bundle that was just Fantasticar straight up, forget about the season pass. If it was just a Fantasticar and it was $20, I bet you people would be like, huh, I'll think about it. And if people are like, I don't want to spend $20 on a Series 4 card, they'll make it a Series 5 card. And all of a sudden, well, now it's even more valuable, right? So the extra $10 for that card in terms of value might actually be there from a monetary perspective. But the problem is now you're gating two cards behind a monetary paywall and further increasing the hamster wheel that free-to-play players and even just season pass buyers as a whole who aren't buying the super premium season pass have to keep up with Series 4 releases, Series 5 releases. The hamster wheel continues. And it's very clear that Second Dinner does not want collection complete to be a goal of the average player simply reserved for the whales. And so largely, I just want to make clear that I think the issue with the Fantasticar is largely an issue with the general approach to monetization, because you can't just forget about Kid Omega. I hope they don't make that Kid Omega mistake again, and I hope that they're a little more lenient with their approach to monetizing their game modes, which honestly should be celebrations of the community. Game modes should be bringing people back into Marvel Snap with exciting new opportunities to play and freshen their experience, get them back into the economy, and maybe then they'll buy a card, or maybe then they'll buy some variants, right? They shouldn't be focused on grinding in that like plated discount. BS is awful, right? And so I really hope that they learn their lesson from that. What I want to tell you, though, is that not everything is always as it appears. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of behind-the-scenes baseball as to what's been happening and perhaps what even cued the decision to add the Fantasticar in the first place. What's interesting is that even on the Snapchat with Dara had mentioned that from a competitive standpoint, that it would be beneficial for Marvel Snap to release more cards. And we had a little bit of a discussion about that. I know that in the comment section of the Snapchat, people are supportive of the idea of releasing more cards for meta freshness. The only challenge is, again, that hamster wheel that I always allude to. How to release more cards, but also allow people to achieve more cards so that the general grind and the ability to acquire collections and build decks is still decent, right? You can't just release more cards with the existing acquisition and expect people just to spend money to fill the gap. It's not worth it. If releasing more cards makes Marvel Snap a better game, then that's cool. But you gotta allow people to actually collect these cards, and that has been the crux of the problem. So, to give you a little bit of kind of insight into how the Fantasticar situation might have occurred, In December of 2024, we're around the time when the Super Premium Season Pass is being launched. And that had a bunch of borders and it had the cosmetic, it had the variant in it. It was a number of competitively minded Marvel Snap content creators in the content creator Discord that actually suggested to Second Dinner that they were disappointed that the Super Premium Season Pass had a variant in it, and instead they would rather prefer that a new collectible card was added to the Super Premium Season Pass. Second Dinner then inquired about it, responded to it, and had a little bit of discussion with these competitively minded creators. And then, well, lo and behold, 6 months later, what do you get? You get exactly that. And what I found was interesting is these same creators who had suggested this to Second Dinner in the first place have also now come out and damned the Fantasticar being added to the Super Premium Season Pass. And so, I found that particularly interesting because one of the discussions we had with Regis and Cozy was that Second Dinner often does not communicate with its creators. And in this circumstance, on the creator Discord, they actually did listen to some of the advice they had been given by a competitively minded set of creators. And this is what we've got. Whoa, put your pitchforks down, all right? In the defense of those creators, December 2024 was a very different time in Marvel Snap. We didn't have the onslaught of cards coming. We weren't having direct to Series 4 releases. We didn't have the Kid Omega fiasco. So adding an additional Series 4 card to the release schedule via a season pass or super premium season pass might not have been honestly a bad idea for the freshness of the game. But now, this is why I was saying that in so many ways, the Fantasticar being added to the super premium season pass was the straw that broke the camel's back, as they like to say, because it's everything that's been happening. It's been the changes to the limited time game modes to make them aggressive, brutal grinds. It's been the Series 4 releases happening. It's been the Kid Omega stuff happening. All of that together alongside the Fantasticar was a step too far for the vast majority of players. And I know for a fact that the player base is dwindling in Marvel Snap. I see it in my metrics. I know they're seeing it in theirs as well. So, you know what? Honestly, Second Dinner needs to listen to its players. They need to respond to the feedback they're getting, because if they do not, they run the risk of just fading into obscurity. One can only hope that Second Dinner takes the feedback it's getting from the community seriously and improves the card acquisition if they're going to be releasing more cards into the ecosystem. Moreover, I hope that they reduce the monetary predatory practices that they've been employing to try to milk every player for more money at every given opportunity. And I hope that the limited time game modes are now approached with the opportunity to re-engage with players who have perhaps lapsed or are thinking of leaving Marvel Snap as a whole with fun, free-to-play rewards that of course they can earn without grinding like crazy and just fall back in love with Marvel Snap again. But ultimately, guys, I hope this video did help you guys kind of see a little bit behind the scenes as to what might have happened. Most importantly, if Second Dinner did happen to see this video, I hope you guys take strides to improve the player experience in the future. Make the right choices, and let's make Marvel Snap the game it can be.